golden knife, 6 witnesses, and 1 innocent man. Everyone was convinced he was a thief, but they forgot one important thing. Bahlul was there, and Bahlul always found a way. The story began one evening when Bahlul was invited to a judge's banquet. He brought a friend along and said to him on the way, "Sit where I sit, eat what I eat, and until someone asks you a question, say nothing." But the man thought to himself, "How strange. A fool is trying to give me advice." When they arrived, the house was full of guests. Bahlul sat near the entrance, but his friend went straight to the seat of honor and took one of the best places in the room. After the meal, fruit was served, but there was no knife on the table. At that moment, Bahlul's friend pulled out a beautiful gold-handled knife from his pocket. Instantly, everyone's eyes were drawn to it. Among the guests were 6 brothers. They exchanged glances and quickly came up with a plan. A moment later, the eldest brother stood up and declared, "That knife belongs to our father. It was lost many years ago." The judge asked, "Do you have any witnesses to support your claim?" The eldest brother smiled. "Of course. My 5 brothers can all testify that it belonged to our father." The other 5 brothers immediately supported his claim. A golden knife and 6 witnesses against 1 man. The judge said, "Take this man to prison and return the knife to its owners." The poor man turned pale, but at that moment Bahlul stood up. "Your Honor, this man is my guest tonight. Allow him to stay with me until morning, and I will personally bring him back tomorrow." The judge agreed, but with one condition. "You must not teach him anything." Bahlul smiled. "I promise. I won't say a single word to him." That night, Bahlul and his guest returned home. During the entire journey, Bahlul remained silent. But when they arrived, he walked into the stable and picked up a stick. He struck the man's donkey and shouted, "You foolish donkey! Didn't I tell you to sit where I sit? Didn't I tell you not to reach into your pocket unless someone asked you to?" The man listened in confusion. Then Bahlul continued, "Tomorrow, if the judge asks whether the knife is yours, say no. Tell him you've been searching for its true owner for years. Tell him you found it on the day your father was murdered, with that very knife buried in his chest." In that moment, the man understood. Bahlul wasn't talking to the donkey at all. He was teaching its owner how to save himself. The next morning, the man returned with Bahlul to the judge's court. The 6 brothers were already there, confident they had won. The judge asked, "Does this golden knife belong to you?" "No, Your Honor," the man replied calmly. "It does not." The 6 brothers smiled, but the man continued, "For years, I have been searching for the knife's true owner. If it truly belongs to these brothers, I will gladly return it to them." The judge turned to the brothers. "Are you certain this knife belonged to your father?" "Absolutely." And all 6 brothers insisted on their claim. The judge turned back to the man. "Then tell us how this knife came into your possession." The man replied, "Many years ago, my father was a wealthy merchant until one night bandits attacked his caravan. Silence filled the room. When I reached him, he had been murdered, and all his possessions had been stolen. Then he raised the knife, and this knife was buried to the hilt in my father's chest." The smiles vanished from the brothers' faces. The man continued, "I kept this knife, hoping that one day I would find its owner." Then he pointed at the 6 brothers. "And now, I believe I have." The judge frowned. "What do you mean?" The man replied, "These men claim the knife belonged to their father. If that is true, then they must explain how their father's knife ended up in my father's chest." A heavy silence fell over the courtroom. The 6 brothers looked at one another. They had fallen into a trap of their own making. The eldest brother swallowed hard. "Perhaps we made a mistake." The judge raised an eyebrow. "A mistake?" "Yes. Now that I look more carefully, I'm not sure this is actually our father's knife." The other 5 brothers quickly agreed. Yes, perhaps we were mistaken. A moment later, laughter echoed through the courtroom. The judge understood exactly what had happened. The 6 brothers had lied. The judge turned to the man and said, "Take your knife and go. You are free." Then he smiled and added, "And don't forget to thank Bahlul." The man gratefully picked up his knife and left. That day, everyone learned that 6 lying witnesses are no match for one clever mind. And without speaking a single word to his guest, Bahlul had saved an innocent man's life. If you enjoyed this story and would like to hear more timeless tales of wisdom, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.